train. Going to easy, Alabama. Don't stop, Mississippi. Possum Point, Georgia. Miami.
Who's Amy?
Miami.
Hey, you mean your Amy?
Bo Hunkers.
Bo Hookers?
Bo Hunkers.
Bo Hunkers?
Oh, I beg your pardon. Hoboken.
Hoboken. Oh, well, Mr. Conductor, I want to go to Hot Town.
Hot Town?
Yes, sir.
That's the last stop.
Last.
All aboard.
All right, sir.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome aboard. How are all of you doing? I'll be your judge tonight, Judge Tethercat. I was actually debating whether I should use the gavel or use the hockey stick. I have both at my disposal. But, you know, we're going to the gavel tonight. I see you there in chat, Greed, and I see you there in chat, Mini-Me. It's good having you aboard. If you're going to be joining in, please join in. We love you. If you're going to be remaining...
Minimi96 said, hey Tethercat, how's your day?
My day actually is quite well, if I had to assess it. I've been having a pretty good day, all things considered, so thank you for asking. Yeah. I had to think about that for a minute. But no, I've had a good day, and I hope that everyone else has a good day, a good evening, a good fun time here on the Tethercat stream. Please join in. We're going to be getting into some cases. You know how this game is played. You've seen this before.
Greed1914 said ice hockey.
Ice hockey. And so, you know how this game is played. We look at all the cases. We look at all the information. These people are being sentenced. So we have to assume that they're guilty of their crime, and we're going to be issuing a sentence and a length of sentence. And with that said, we'll get into the first case. By the way, this is an open voice chat, and so there may be people showing up who might be our guest bailiffs. We'll find out, won't we? Anyway, let's get into the first case. Remember, court is now in session. Your rating will be affected by how much and what kind of information you choose. And tonight's first crime of the evening is the defendant is to be sentenced for the crime of insider stock trading. Crime. Insider stock trading. And as you may have read in the description, or as you may have seen in the last
crime,
stream,
insider stock trading.
There actually were 5 symmetrical duck awards given out on the last game. It was amazing. So either we're getting better at the game, either the game's getting worse, or we just hit a lucky streak. Who knows? But tonight, we're dealing with these. Let's take a look at the details of this crime of insider stock trading. And we're going to look at the demographics. The offender is a 61-year-old Oriental male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender-victim relationship, society, is the victim. The weapon used in physical injury, there was none. Property damage or loss was $2 million. Well, it's going to be one of these cases, is it? And the excuse given for this crime is that he said he needed $2 million. The offender didn't even balk. Didn't even lie. The offender said he needed $2 million. Don't we all?
Greed 1914 said it's a victimless crime, or so they say.
Yeah, I can't, not on the Tethercat avatar, you can't see me do air quotes, but believe me, victimless crime. Yeah. All right, the offender's criminal reputation. Let's take a look at this 61-year-old man. Surely he's clean as a whistle. His adult prior crime types include marijuana possession. His prior arrests and convictions are 10 recorded prior arrests and 9 recorded prior convictions in his 61 years of life. Well, the fugitive status on the day of the crime is that he dropped an Alcoholics Anonymous program. Oh, pardon me. I used to keep a yawn counter and I don't do that anymore. And the offender's reputation. The offender is a troublemaker. Well, at 10 arrests and 9 convictions, I would assume so. $2 million worth of troublemaking. And we're going to look at the pre-sentence report. Let's take a look at the personal details of this 61-year-old man. The offender is separated. He pops pills, and he has a high school equivalence diploma. His employment history is that he's a white-collar worker. The courtroom prosecution details. Trial evidence revealed the defendant as a ringleader of insider stock trading. A TV reporter predicts that you, the player, you, the judge, will imprison the defendant. You think? A TV reporter, smart cookie. For the offender's upbringing or mental history, I can't see that either of these are relevant to this case. Offender's upbringing prior to age 18, that was a long time ago. Include the offender's juvenile record includes putting bicycle cards in the spokes of his bicycle. Yeah, we don't need that. And the mental history, I don't know. He's a troublemaker. That's all we need to know. With that said, let's review, as the excellent YouTuber June Kawamori has once coined it as, let's review the clipboard of justice. In the crime of insider stock trading, the property damage or loss was $2 million. Society, a victimless crime, or so they say, is the victim. There was no personal injury. The offender is a 61-year-old male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender said he needed money. The offender dropped an Alcoholics Anonymous program. The offender is a troublemaker. Prior crimes include marijuana possession, and the offender has had 10 recorded prior arrests and 9 recorded prior convictions. Trial evidence revealed the defendant as a ringleader. A TV reporter predicts that you, the player, will imprison the defendant. The offender is separated, pops pills, has a high school equivalence diploma, and the offender is a white-collar worker. And with that, we reach the decision-making aspect of this case. Once again, everyone following along in chat, as I read the clipboard of justice, it's your opportunity to throw forward into the selection process what you would dictate would be an adequate punishment and a length of sentencing. Your three options are always prison, jail, or probation. And a reminder, we never do the death penalty. So, let's chat, shall we? $2 million of insider stock trading. The offender is a known troublemaker and has seen frequent incarceration. So I believe that prison would definitely be a worthy sentence for this individual. There's no hope for rehabilitation, not at this lengthy age of the offender's life. So whatever we put him in prison for, he's just basically going to prison. If we put 10 years of prison as a benchmark, 10 years of prison, you know what? I don't think it's even going to faze this guy. He'll be out at age 71, and then he'll just be out doing more stuff. For $2 million of insider stock trading, I think we should at least give him 12 years. I can see more than 10 years. Not much more. Not much more. And I can't see 15 years. So I think 12 years of prison would be an adequate sentence. And here we go, everybody. We're looking at 12 years of prison time. The judge sentenced 1.5 years of jail. Go sit in the Mayberry County Jail for 1.5 years with Otis. Get your 3 square meals a day and your nice cushy bed. Bring your street clothes. It's okay. It's only $2 million of insider stock trading. 1.5 years of jail, everybody. Rather light. How many gavels do you think we're going to get? I think we're going to get 10 gavels. We got 1 gavel. Perhaps we should study medicine. And that's our first case of the night, everybody. We're on a stellar streak. Everything's looking Millhouse, isn't it? Gavels?
Tethercat said gavels, 1, judicial IQ, 11.
Fantastic.
Greed 1914 said face blue smiling.
Face blue smiling indeed. You nailed it. All right, let me yawn more time. Yawn one more time. See? I'm not getting enough oxygen to my brain. That's why we have such a low judicial IQ. But that's not going to stop us from case number 2. Now it's time for our next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. Oh, I haven't seen this one in a long time. The defendant is to be sentenced for the crime of theft by con game. Wow,
Tethercat said crime, theft by con game.
Gotta admit, my curiosity is piqued. Let's look at the details of this crime. And we're going to look at the demographics. The offender is a 19-year-old Native American male. The victim was a 28-year-old Native American male. Young guy, eh? Theft by con game. The offender-victim relationship. Ooh, the victim was the offender's brother. Wow. We're going to look at the weapon used in physical injury. There was none. Property damage or loss, $38,000. That's a fair chunk of change. Remember, everybody, this game takes place in 1984. So $38,000 of 1984 money was a lot. And the excuse given for this crime of theft by con game, the offender said he needed money to support a drug habit. $38,000, that's quite a drug habit. Let's take a look at the offender's criminal record, and this 19-year-old, his adult prior crime types include extortion. Ooh. What is this juvenile young man seen? The prior arrests and convictions is 6 recorded prior arrests, 1 recorded prior conviction. He's 19, everybody. We're going to look at the fugitive status on the day of the crime, and he's on pre-trial release. Yikes. I do believe we're going to take a look at the offender's reputation. I can't see how he wouldn't. He's a regular churchgoer. Aw. Pious individual. But, I think at the age of 19 and with such an extensive record, I think we are diligent to look at the juvenile court blotter. The offender's juvenile offenses include motorcycling without a helmet. Motorcycling. It's an interesting word. It's a portmanteau and a half on that one. Let's look at the pre-sentence report. And we're going to take a look at the personal details. This 19-year-old is recently divorced, is often drunk, and is a college scholar. His employment history is that he's had 5 jobs in the last 6 months. Wow. The courtroom prosecution details. The defendant gave up his Confederates in theft by con game. A public pressure group calls you, the player, weak. And don't get me wrong, this Tethercat, noodly arms, spaghetti arms. So they're not wrong. I believe that because it's a brother-on-brother case, we definitely should look at the offender's upbringing. So we will do just that. This 19-year-old was a bastard child and was raised in the Deep South. I feel like we should look at mental history. There's something going on in all of this to make this individual so active in the criminal world at age 19. And I don't think it was because he was motorcycling without a helmet unless he fell. So let's take a look at the mental history. The offender is hyperactive. Well, those con games ain't gonna theft themselves, are they? Let's review the known facts. And once again, everybody, while we review the known facts, please pitch in with your sentence and your length of sentence. Here we go. The clipboard of justice. In theft by con game, the property damage or loss was $38,000. The victim was the offender's brother. There was no personal injury. The offender is a 19-year-old male. The victim was a 28-year-old male. The offender said he needed money to support a drug habit. The offender is on pre-trial release. The offender is a regular churchgoer. However, prior crimes include extortion. The offender's juvenile offenses include motorcycling without a helmet. And this 19-year-old has had 6 recorded prior arrests and 1 recorded prior conviction. The defendant gave up his Confederates. A public pressure group calls you weak. The offender was a bastard child and was raised in the Deep South. The offender is hyperactive. The offender is recently divorced, is often drunk, is a college scholar. The offender has had 5 jobs in the last 6 months. And there we have it. Some interesting duality to this case. We're going to reach a decision. Well. So, I've got some... Here's some thoughts on my end. Is redemption? Is rehabilitation something that is in the cards for this 19-year-old? And I truly believe that there is a hope for redemption, for rehabilitation. The offender is a college scholar. That's good. He's also a regular churchgoer. Whatever he might be thinking, he is a regular churchgoer. So I think that there might be an avenue towards rehabilitation. The crime was for $38,000, I believe. It was to support a drug habit. He's seen a lot of arrests, a lot of one conviction, and he is currently on pretrial release. I don't see prison helping this young man. I don't see sending a 19-year-old to prison helping him. I obviously do not want to give this gentleman probation, so we're going to throw jail time at him. But I feel like with jail, he could receive the institutional help that would bring him about, that would provide him the path. But I don't think it's going to be easy. He has to conquer drug addiction. He has notable sentences. So, in crime, theft by con game, I believe that putting him in for $3.5 years of jail. 3.5 years of jail. I think that if we give this guy 3.5 years of jail, it'll give him that chance. And let's not forget that he can get out early with time for good behavior. And hopefully he will. 3.5 years of jail, everybody. Let's see how he scored. Probation, 6 years. Well. We were a little more heavy-handed than the judge, who has a lot more faith in this kid than perhaps the kid has in himself.
Tethercat said gavels, 1, judicial IQ, 11.
And with that, we're going to hit our first hydration break, everybody. Hydration check.
Tethercat said hydration check.
Maybe we should swap over to the hockey stick. All right, everybody. It's on to our next round. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. We're not doing it. Sensitive case. 99 years prison. We'll take our lumps. On to our next case. The defendant is to be sentenced for the crime of setting a false alarm.
Tethercat said crime, setting a false alarm.
And now we're going to go to the details of this case. Let's take a look at the demographics, shall we? The offender is an 18-year-old Hispanic woman. The victims are the state and the people. And once again, everyone, when we hit younger offenders, when we hit young adults, all of the juvenile aspects of the case become a lot more relevant. Not so much for a 61-year-old person, but definitely for an 18-year-old. Keeping in mind that this case, this trial, may take place when this offender is 18 years and 1 day old, or 18 years and 364 days old. We don't know. We'll keep that in mind. The offender is an 18-year-old woman. The victims are the state and the people. The offender-victim relationship for setting a false alarm. The offender didn't think anyone would be hurt. The weapon used and physical injury was none. Property damage or loss was $1,310. And the excuse given for this crime was that she said she didn't do it. She pleads innocence. So, we got an 18-year-old, pulled an alarm, $1,310. Let's take a look at the offender's criminal record. Keeping in mind, she's 18 years old. The adult prior crime types include burglaries. Wow. Her prior arrests and convictions. She has had an incredible 12 recorded prior arrests and 6 recorded prior convictions. 6 recorded prior convictions at age 18. But she didn't pull this fire alarm. She didn't do it. Let's look at the fugitive status on the day of the crime. She's a bail jumper. The offender's reputation. She's a known racketeer. 18 years old. Sister's doing it for herself. The juvenile court blotter, I think we have to look at. I mean, we could try this as an adult, but now we're kind of curious here. Juvenile court blotter, this 18-year-old. In her youth.
Read 1914 said that is a lot for that age.
That is a lot for that age. This 18-year-old, her juvenile offenses include crashing the gate at a rock concert. But she didn't pull that fire alarm. Oh, no, no. That's what she says. Let's take a look at the pre-sentence report. And we're going to take a look at her personal details. This 18-year-old woman is divorced, drinks moderately, and is an expellee from boarding school. The employment history is that this 18-year-old is a shop steward.
Minimi 96 said she's legal to be put behind bars anyways.
Oh, that she is, and that she will be. The courtroom prosecution details. The defendant still claims her innocence. Okay, all right. I hate it when they double down on claiming innocence, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe she's trying to pull the doe eyes. The doe eyes. A state commission, spelled commission, a state commission investigates you for corruption. By the way, sidebar to this game, as I've stated before in some of my other streams, I actually do have a speech impediment. Real life, real world, I have a speech impediment, and nowhere does it become more prominent than when I pronounce the letter S. So if you ever hear me pronounce the letter S, perhaps a little differently than most normal humans, I have a speech impediment. A state commission investigates you for corruption. Why? What did I do? Is it because I bring a hockey stick? Hope not. I believe we definitely need to look at the offender's upbringing. The offender was raised by her grandmother and also was raised in a communist country. Oh. Well, that's interesting. I kind of think we should look at mental history. There's got to be something going on. There's some gears there for her to be a known racketeer. Let's take a look. The offender lives constantly in the past and broods around. She's not 18, she's 14. All teenagers live in the past and brood around, don't they? She's barely an adult. And yet, as we will review with the clipboard of justice, she is anything but an adult. She's an adult through and through. Let's take a look at the clipboard of justice. In the crime of setting a false alarm, this 18-year-old, her property damage or loss was $1,300. The offender didn't think anyone would be hurt. There was no personal injury. The offender is an 18-year-old woman. The victims are the state and the people. The offender said she didn't do it. The offender is a bail jumper. The offender is also a known racketeer. Her prior crimes include burglaries. In her youth, the offender's juvenile offenses include crashing the gate at a rock concert. Her recorded priors are 12 arrests and 6 convictions. Just staggering. The defendant still claims her innocence. A state commission investigates you for corruption. The offender was raised by her grandmother and was also raised in a communist country. The offender constantly lives in the past and broods around. The offender is divorced. She drinks moderately. She's an expellee from boarding school, and she is a shop steward. And there we have it, everybody. It's quite the case. I mean, it's not untoward. It's not a crazy case. $1,300. She doubled down on her innocence. I didn't pull the fire alarm, but you know what? We got her. She was charged. We have to send her away anyway. Is there hope for rehabilitation? She's 18, and I want to say yes. However, she has an extensive history behind her. And these are only things that happened while she was tried as an adult. So I think that if we slap her on the wrist so hard it breaks her wrist, that's a good thing. Let's give her some prison time. It's setting a false alarm. So it can't be that harsh. It's $1,300, so it can't be that harsh. I'm going to say 6 years of prison, but boy, oh boy, if this doesn't give her some shock therapy, I don't know what will. 6 months of prison, lady. I hope you do better. Probation, 8 years, 8 months. Yeah. Mine's definitely a little more heavy-handed, but I was trying to send a message.
Minimi 96 said jail 3 to 5 years.
Yeah. Even that would have been excessive compared to our score. Jinkies. Okay, everyone. Let's take our lumps and see how many gavels we got. Yeah, we got 4
Minimi
gavels.
96 said NVM.
Yeah. Gavels.
Tethercat said gavels, 4, judicial IQ, 26.
Well, we're not doing great. We might be ready to handle traffic court, try some more cases to improve your score. You know, we're not doing too smash hot for trying to get any symmetrical dock awards, let alone a record-breaking section. But the night is still young, isn't it? Now it's time for our next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. Nope. Frightening. Crime is forgery.
Tethercat said crime, forgery.
These can be some fun cases. Sometimes they're high profile, sometimes they're exceedingly low profile. We'll find out. Let's take a look at the details of this crime. Oh, there's a frightening aspect. Guess who it is, everybody? Welcome aboard. It's June Kalmori. How you doing tonight, June?
You're getting 1 round. And that's it.
1 round is all we need. Isn't that right, everybody?
Who all is in chat?
We got Greed, we got Mini-Me, perhaps some others. And I keep hearing an echo, and I'm pretty sure it's because there's some OBS
Minimi
settings going on.
96 said hi June-san.
Yeah.
How are you waving hand?
So
Hi, Mini-Me, I'm sick.
so if everyone in chat can tell me how the audio is on June, and let me know if there's echo on your end, echo on my end, that'd be great. Anyway, June Kalmori, we're just starting off a case.
Beautiful.
We got 1 case here, and we're doing the crime of forgery. Let's take a look at the details of this crime. And we're going to look at the demographics. The offender is a 19-year-old black woman. The victims are the state and the people. Oh, hold on a sec. I got to change the music for a moment because they always talk during that song. Can't handle when they...
Is it the one song that you still have to get rid of on your playlist?
That it is.
Minimi
boy.
96 said feel better soon and sound is good.
Well, there we go. Fantastic.
Thank you, Mini-Me.
All right. The crime here is forgery. The offender is a 19-year-old black woman. The victims are the state and the people. The offender-victim relationship. The offender said that the victims of forgery should have been more careful.
Oh, boy.
And the weapon used physical injury was none. However, the property damage or loss, $1.9 million.
Whoa.
That's $1 million for every year she's been alive.
Holy moly.
Holy moly, indeed. And the excuse given for this crime of forgery. The offender said she needed money for her friend's sex change operation.
That'll, like, do the operation and buy a car and buy a house.
That's
What?
that's a lot of stuff going on there, isn't there?
She's securing the bag.
That she is. That she is. Oh yeah. Okay, we're gonna take a look at the offender's criminal record. And the adult prior crime types for this 19-year-old woman include vandalism.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Prior arrests and convictions. Keeping in mind she's 19 years old. She's had 12 recorded prior arrests and 6 recorded prior convictions.
What?
This woman, she been busy. I don't know. We only have the one crime of vandalism, perhaps repeated multiple times, but at least vandalism.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the... Actually, I want to go back for a moment. I want to go back to details of the crime to the excuse given. Oh, yeah. Okay. Sex change operation. We're going to look at the fugitive status on the day of the crime. She's not a fugitive.
How?
I don't know.
What?
I mean, isn't a fugitive one who escapes justice? A fugitive is someone who escapes the criminal system. So that means she's taken her lumps. That means that she's actually said, yep, I did it, and she did it.
Oh boy.
And by the way, she's 19. These convictions, these 6 convictions, perhaps they were only a month. 1 month conviction for this crime. 30 days conviction for this crime. So she could rack up 6 convictions in that time.
Still, even in that time, she also managed to do this forgery of over $1 million, almost $2 million.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta admit, there's something going on there. There's something going on there.
Crazy.
Yeah, very crazy. Let's take a look at the offender's reputation. Apparently she's a stoolie. She freely gives up information on other crimes because she knows a lot of other crimes.
Apparently.
She's 19-year-old. Do we need to look at her juvenile court blotter?
Yeah.
Okay. The offender's juvenile offenses include joyriding.
As a crime?
That was a thing back in the day, back in the 60s.
You can't just
70s,
ride
80s.
to ride?
Oh, no. Joyriding had a little bit of a different connotation back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Grease. Typically, it's operation of a motor vehicle while doing crazy stuff. So you're standing in the car while driving it. Or you're straddling 2 cars, or you're jumping. You know, imagine Mad Max if that were fun.
1914 said happiness is a crime.
Yes. Happiness is also a warm donut, which is a crime, as I eat many warm donuts.
Happiness is a bowl of hot soup eating right now.
Oh yeah, that sounds pretty good. To be honest, I might do that up as soon as the stream's over.
Hot soup.
Yes. And I bought submarine sandwiches. I'll get into that in a moment. Let's take a look at the pre-sentence report. So this 19-year-old, we're going to look at her personal details. The offender is soon to be wed. Well, congratulations. She's a chain smoker, and she is a college freshman. They let her into college.
With all them convictions and everything.
With all the convictions and everything. Her employment history is that she can't hold down a job.
Gee, I wonder why.
Unless that job is forgery. The courtroom prosecution details are that the defendant expresses no remorse. She probably...
Well, yeah.
Well, she probably spent that 1.9 million, so I'd express no remorse. I'd be like, woo, living the dream, baby. Friend sex change operation, let's go, any percent. The defendant was defended by a private attorney. Could she afford that?
Well, yeah, she could afford it with that 1.9 mil.
Perhaps. Usually they don't take the money if it's part of a crime. Don't they take that money?
They said, you know what? Let her have it. It's part of the bit.
There you go. That's exactly
Why
what
not?
they said. That's exactly what they said. Let's look at. Do we need to look at mental history or offender's upbringing?
Upbringing, yes.
Okay. The offender was an abused child and was raised in suburbia.
Okay, so not a great background.
Not a great background. I'm actually curious about mental history. If she's 19 and she's committed all these crimes, I actually want to look at her mental history. The offender overeats and is grossly overweight. Well,
I don't think that...
that's her mental history. That could be attributed to any number of factors.
I was gonna say, like, me too, bitch. Like, what does it matter?
Yeah. Well, I'm underweight, clinically underweight. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure there's some mental history going on my end that would have contributed to that, too.
No, we just gotta get some meat on your bones, Grandpa.
I'm eating soup after the stream.
Yay!
Yay, we're doing it. All right, let's review. Jun Kamori, this is...
Read 1914 said body blue raised arms.
Body blue raised arms,
Not
indeed.
the body blue raised arms.
Reed knows what it's about. June, would you care to take us into the next section, which is... That's right. Cough it out. It's
the clipboard of justice.
It's the clipboard of justice. Thank you, Jun Kamori.
I'm sorry. I got completely distracted by the chat rat reading out the emoji because I just remembered something really dumb.
That's fair. I always get distracted by chat rat for what it's worth. The crime is forgery, and the property damage or loss was $1.9 million. The offender said that the victims should have been more careful. There was no personal injury. The offender is a 19-year-old woman. The victims are the state and the people. The offender said she needed money for a friend's sex change operation. The offender is not a fugitive. The offender is a stoolie. Prior crimes include vandalism. The offender's juvenile offenses include joyriding. The offender has had 12 recorded prior arrests and 6 recorded prior convictions. The defendant expresses no remorse. The defendant was defended by a private attorney. The offender was an abused child, was raised in suburbia, is grossly overweight and overeats. The offender is soon to be wed, is a chain smoker, is a college freshman, and the offender can't hold down a job. And that's it for the crime of forgery. We're going to reach a decision. Jun Kamori, welcome aboard. Would you care to take us away on this?
It's prison, baby. There ain't no way.
I fully agree. Fully agree. $1.9 million. Forgery. She expressed no remorse. She's habitually been in the system. What do you think?
This is like, what, around 20 years, all things considered. That's my gut reaction, at least.
Going baseline 20, are you?
Yeah.
She's 19. And I always have to ask the question, is there any aspect of rehabilitation involved in with this?
She does not give a shit.
I fully agree. And I have to say that the chance of rehabilitation is slim. I think there is rehabilitation in there, but it will not come with probation, and it will not come with jail. I definitely think prison time would not only be justifiable, but worthy of the $1.9 million crime.
Yep.
However, 20 years is a little heavy-handed on my end. I think 10 years would be a lot lighter, so I'm going to actually offer up 15 years of prison as my guess.
Minimi96 said there's no helping her.
So would you be amenable to 15 years of prison?
Let's see.
She'll be getting out when she's 34. If there's no time off for good behavior.
Yeah. So again, with 12 arrests and 6 convictions, one of which was vandalism?
One, yeah, it's a good assumption, yes.
She had no remorse. She said the other people should have been more careful.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still feel like it shouldn't just be 15.
You're going to stick to 20.
Well, I'm okay going down. Maybe like 17?
Nah, you know what? I'll throw in the 20. I mean, I'm good with 15, but if you're on for 20, so am I.
Okay.
All right, we'll do 20 years of prison time for this individual. In the case of forgery, let's see how he scored. Prison, 1 year, 11 months.
1 year?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I guess if we're just basing it off of just forgery, but with the amount?
To my knowledge, forgery is a federal crime. So
Yeah, but
you'd
for
think 1.9 million would warrant a lot higher. Ugh. Ay. Well, anyway.
That's crazy.
I think we knew that was coming. Now, you said that you were going to stick around for one case.
Tethercat said gavels, 1. Judicial IQ, 25.
And so it is
That's
up
correct.
to you. Are you going to stick around for another, or are you going to take off and get some soup and rest?
No, I want soup and rest.
Well, then there you go. Everybody, June Kalmori, go subscribe to her YouTube channel. Thank you for showing up.
Hi, yeah, I'll be back when I'm feeling better, I guess.
Well, we will all be anxiously awaiting your return.
Yay, bye guys.
Take care, June. Off she goes. And that's the kind of night we're having. People just popping in, popping out. We'll see if we get any others as the cases go on.
Minimi96 said by June San, take care and much love, waving hand, red heart.
Don't worry, I'll pass along your message if.
Greed 1914 said by June.
Yeah, I'll pass your messages along. So don't worry about that. She'll understand. She'll see it. And let's do another hydration check. And then we'll hop into another case.
Tethercat said hydration check.
I love this music. This is that Polyelios Athens Byzantine Orchestra song that I like so much. All right, everybody. Now it's time for the next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. The defendant is to be sentenced for the crime of heroin use.
Tethercat said crime, heroin use.
Back in 1984, it was a crime to use hard drugs. Let's take a look at the details of this crime. And the demographics. The offender is a 31-year-old white Catholic male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender-victim relationship. Society is the victim. The weapon used physical injury. There was none. Property damage or loss. None. And the excuse given for this crime. The offender said he did heroin use for the publicity. The 80s were a magical time, everybody. Let's take a look at the offender's criminal record. We're going to look at the adult prior crime types. Those include speeding. I could make a joke here. I am opting not to. Let's take a look at the prior arrests and convictions. Oh, this 31-year-old male has had 2 recorded prior arrests and 1 recorded prior conviction. The offender's fugitive status on the day of the crime is that he's wanted by the military police. Well, that could be dangerous. His reputation is that he's a common thug. Well, there's nothing big about this case so far, other than him wanting to do it for publicity. It's with nothing happening and no injury, no expense to anyone. It's just more damage to himself than anything. Let's take a look at the pre-sentence report. And the personal details of this 31-year-old man are that he is married by common law. He stays as sober as a judge. I can attest to this. And he is a junior high school graduate. His employment history. The offender is a doctor. Wow. Wait, what? Wait, I want to go back to personal details for a moment. This doctor is married by common law, stays as sober as a judge, and is a junior high school he's a junior high school graduate. And he's a doctor. I gotta admit, didn't see that coming. The courtroom prosecution details, he pleaded guilty. I mean, once again, it's not really a big crime when you think about it. A TV reporter predicts that you will imprison the defendant? I do not think so. I don't think we need to look at his upbringing or the mental history, to be honest. Let's review the known facts. The crime of heroin use. There was no monetary loss. Society is the victim. There was no personal injury except to self. The offender is a 31-year-old male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender said he did it for publicity. The offender is wanted by the military police. The offender is a common thug. Prior crimes include speeding. He has had 2 recorded prior arrests and 1 recorded prior conviction. The defendant pleaded guilty. A TV reporter predicts that you will imprison the defendant. The offender is married by common law, stays as sober as a judge, is a junior high school graduate, and is a doctor. Wow. Interesting case, everybody. Interesting case. I'm interested to hear. I'm actually going to delay my decisions so that you guys can pitch in with your thoughts here, because I'm actually interested what you guys would do. I'll tell you what I'm thinking. Heroin use. A TV reporter predicts that you will imprison the defendant. I call shenanigans on that. I'm not going to do prison for this gentleman. I'm not even going to do jail. I mean, this is not a jail-worthy crime. He's not inflicting any damage on anyone except himself. And other than the fact that he did it for the publicity, so what? I mean, that might be akin to public exposure, perhaps. You know, maybe he was using heroin at a diner, you know, something like that. Like, I don't know. That's flagrant violation of self-harm, if anything. But yeah, I just don't see anything happening. He's 31 years old. He's a doctor, so he's got a steady profession. I think there is absolute probation and rehabilitation in this person's future. So I'm actually going to give it, I'm giving him 10 years of probation because I really want this guy to pull out of it. That is a hard substance, and I don't think that 5 years of probation will be enough to keep him clean. I think 10 years would definitely keep him clean. And if he gets on the right track, he'll be good. So anyway, I'm going to hold off for a little bit. I want to hear what your thoughts are. I'm going to give it about another 30 seconds. Interesting, though. I really feel that, yeah, this guy could turn around. I think that, genuinely. All right. Not hearing any suggestions for numbers, so we're going to run with this. Here we go, everybody. For the crime of heroin use.
Minimi 96 said probation is good.
Yeah, okay, probation, yeah, I agree. For the crime of heroin use, 10 years. Let's see how we do. 2 and 8 months of prison. Is that really going to help the guy? Is that going to help anyone? I don't think so. Man, I do not feel good about these cases and my score on these cases. I feel justified in every situation.
Tethercat said Gavels, 1, Judicial IQ, 23.
Well, let's take a look at the next case. And we're also coming into the top of the hour.
Minimi 96 said when we decide the opposite.
Yeah, I know. We're coming into the top of the hour. We're going to keep playing. But I'm just alerting anyone if they have any chores to do, any last minute items they want to fulfill. This might be your option to go and maybe go and grab some hot soup. I went out today and I bought some submarine sandwiches. The local supermarket had submarine sandwiches, cold cut trio and lettuce. So I'm gonna eat some soup with that later. But for the moment, it's time for our next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. Now, see this, yeah. The defendant is to be sentenced for the crime of cocaine sale. Now that.
Tethercat said crime, cocaine sale.
Yeah. Prison.
Greed 1914 said sandwich.
Sandwich. Oh, sandwich. Don't even... You should also put in a soup emoji with that and really make me drool. All right, everyone, we're going to look at the details of this crime. And we're looking at the demographics. The offender is a 33-year-old white Protestant male. The victims are the state and the people. In this case, perhaps more. The offender-victim relationship, the offender had no knowledge of the victim. Oof. Weapon used, physical injury, none. Property damage or loss was $1.5 million. Wow.
Greed 1914 said pot of food.
You're making me drool. Making me drool.
Tethercat said pee.
You're making me drool. Shut up, chat rat. You're making me drool. Let's look at the excuse given for this crime. $1.5 million. The offender said he had to have money for a gambling debt. What was the offender-victim relationship? No knowledge of the victim. Where's demographics? He's 33 years old. Yikes. $1.5 million. Let's take a look at the offender's criminal record. And the adult prior crime types include muggings. The prior arrests and convictions. This 33-year-old man has had one recorded prior arrest and one recorded prior conviction. The fugitive status on the day of the crime. Canada requests extradition. You know what? This is a question I've always had. I know I've been playing this game for a long time. country requests extradition. I want to see what this is all about. Extradition occurs when one country requests another to surrender an alleged criminal. In Canada, extradition is only considered if the alleged offense is also a crime under Canadian law. So, to read that, what that means is that this cocaine sale is a crime under Canadian law, and they're asking for him. So this guy's a hoser. Take off, hoser. We're gonna take a look at where I got kind of lost here. So let's I got all spun around because, you know, oh, Canada and all that. Adult prior crime types, muggings, prior arrest convictions, 1 and 1. Fugitive status on the day of the crime, Canada requests extradition. Offender's reputation. The offender is known as lucky. Make your own comment on that one, I suppose. I don't think we need to look at the juvenile court blotter. Now let's take a look at the pre-sentence report. We're going to take a look at the personal details of this 33-year-old man. And he's widowed, he doesn't drink, and he's a computer school graduate. Whoa, a computer school graduate. I don't think I've ever seen that one. Got graduated computer school. In 1984, what's that even mean? They didn't even have computer school back in 1984. That was a thing? I would have done that if I'd known that was a thing. All right. Employment history. He's a union official. Oof. Okay, Lucky. The courtroom prosecution details are that the defendant gave up his Confederates in the crime of cocaine sale. The media blasts soft judges. See how soft I am after having some soup and sandwich. I don't think we need to look at the offender's upbringing or mental history. And so we're just going to review the known facts. At the clipboard of justice. Oh, please stop talking in my ears. Thank you. Love that soundtrack, but still. In the crime of cocaine sale, property damage or loss was $1.5 million. The offender had no knowledge of the victim. There was no personal injury. The offender is a 33-year-old white Protestant male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender said he had to have money for a gambling debt. Canada requests extradition. The offender is known as Lucky. Prior crimes include muggings. Recorded priors are 1 recorded prior arrest and 1 recorded prior conviction. The defendant gave up his Confederates. The media blasts soft judges. The offender is widowed, doesn't drink, and is a computer school graduate. And the offender is a union official. Oof. There's a lot to unpack in there, but the key thing is that this is for the crime of cocaine sale. And I don't take kindly to that. Prison. I know we can't rely on previous cases, and I know that we're not supposed to even refer to previous cases. These are separate entities, but on the previous case, the guy was doing heroin just by himself and got an absolute lengthy prison sentence. Unwarranted, if you ask me. This case, however, cocaine sale? Oh, man. There is no rehabilitation for cocaine sale. The $1.5 million justifies this guy going away for a long time. So, I am going to put forward... I'm going to put forward... I want to put forward 7 years. Honestly, I kind of want to do... I think that minimum 7 years would be the proper amount of time for this case. Which is why I'm going to go 10 years. 10 years of prison on this guy. I want to put him away for a lot more. I feel that 10 years will definitely serve its purpose. You know what? I do want to put him away for a lot more. I'm going to go 15 years of prison on this guy. When he's in there, you can think that it's going to be $1 million per year. There you go, Lucky. Have fun. Judge's sentence, 9 years, 7 months of prison. Well, don't feel bad about what I did. I missed out on a symmetrical duck, but I feel justified nonetheless. Not bad. We received 5 gavels. Keep practicing. This isn't small claims court.
Tethercat said gavels, 5, judicial IQ, 32.
Well, not bad at all. Now it's time for our next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. And the defendant is to be sentenced for the crime of bribery. Getting a fair amount of different cases tonight, are we not?
Minimi 96 said not bad.
I know, not bad, eh?
Tethercat said crime, bribery.
I mean, it's not the 5 symmetrical ducks we had last game, but far from it. But I feel justified with the sentence, and yeah, that last case was not bad. This case is crime of bribery, so let's take a look at the details of this crime. We're going to look at the details of the demographics. The offender is a 56-year-old white Jewish male. The victim was a 54-year-old Hispanic Catholic woman. The offender-victim relationship. They were cronies. You know, maybe it's just something in the back of my mind, but whenever I see the word crony, I always think witches. Like the old hags with the crooked noses, like Broomhilda. Anyway. Witch Hazel. Whenever I see cronies, that's what I think of. Let's go back to demographics. The offender is 56-year-old guy. The victim is 54-year-old woman. They were cronies. Let's take a look at the weapon used and physical injury. There was none. Property damage or loss for the crime of bribery. There was none. So, 56-year-old guy approaches 54-year-old woman who's a crony, says, "Hey, I'm doing bribery," and the excuse why is that the reason was political. Alright. These political cases can get sketchy sometimes with those individuals. Let's take a look at the offender's criminal record. This 56-year-old man's prior crime types are unavailable. And the recorded prior arrests and convictions are none. Squeaky clean. Fugitive status on the day of the crime. He's absent without leave. Not squeaky clean. The offender's reputation. The offender is also known as Scarface, which is odd. He's had no crime. Other than being AWOL, he's had no crime. He's had no priors. So he's just called Scarface, perhaps unnecessarily. I don't think we need to look at juvenile court blotter, so let's take a look at the pre-sentence report. And we're going to look at the personal details of this 56-year-old man. He's honeymooning. Congratulations. He's addicted to caffeine, and he is a parochial school graduate. He's a man of the cloth. The employment history is that he's a scientist. Ooh. Scarface the scientist. Reminds me of Liam Neeson in Darkman. Although that guy wasn't up for bribery of a political nature. The courtroom process, by the way, if you get a chance, go watch Liam Neeson in Darkman. Excellent movie. Courtroom prosecution details. The defendant was held in contempt of court. Oh, that's not good. A public pressure group calls you weak. The offender's upbringing and mental history. I don't think we need to look at either of them. Mental history, possibly for the contempt of court thing, but honestly, I don't even think that's going to factor in. So, Let's review the known facts with the clipboard of justice. In the crime of bribery, there was no monetary loss. The offender and the victim were cronies. There was no personal injury. The offender is a 56-year-old man. The victim was a 54-year-old woman. The offender said the reason was political. The offender is AWOL. The offender is also known as Scarface. Specific crime type of information is unavailable. There has been 0 recorded prior arrests and 0 recorded prior convictions for this man. The defendant was held in contempt of court. A public pressure group calls you weak. The offender is honeymooning, is addicted to caffeine, and is a parochial school graduate. As well, the offender is a scientist. And that's the case of bribery, everybody. Well, well, well. What have we here? So, nothing really happened. I mean, bribery in itself, I think that's definitely a crime. But nothing really happened. And other than the key one here is the contempt of court. That's the one that's gonna stick in my craw. The offender is AWOL, but other than that, nothing's really going on here. So, is rehabilitation possible? He's 56 years old, and he has a really squeaky clean record. Once again, except for the AWOL. So I do believe rehabilitation is an option. I think that means that we can't choose prison. The crime is bribery. And once again, nothing happened. So except for the contempt of court, I feel that a lengthy probation sentence, not even a lengthy probation sentence, maybe 3 years of probation, maybe 2 years of probation. But you know what? He was held in contempt of court. As much as I just want to give this guy 2 years of probation, you can't get away with contempt of court. Does that justify jail, even if it's only for like a month? No, because that would negate the 2 years of probation. So we're going to double down on the probation. We're going to put him in at 4 years of probation. Realistically, only needs 2. We're going to put him in for 4.
Minimi 96 said Sua 5 years probation.
Yeah, see, that's it, right? Like, 2 years of probation, I think that would get him from the whole bribery thing. But he was in contempt of court. And we got to send a message. I'm willing to go with you there, jury foreman mini-me. 5 years of probation. Yeah. I don't think that 5 months of jail is going to solve this issue at all or in the least. I'm still with you. And look, even with the 2 to 5 years, still was light. So I'm still, I'm right behind you there, mini-me. Yeah. Oh well. That's the beans, everybody. Now we received 4 gavels. We might be ready to handle traffic court.
Tethercat said gavels, 4, judicial IQ, 36.
We should try some more cases to improve our score, like I haven't been doing that for 4 decades. I don't think more cases are going to improve our score. Been doing this a long time there, pal. Yeah. Hydration check.
Tethercat said hydration check.
Now then. Now it's time for our next case. And remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. Oh, we got a good one. The defendant is to be sentenced for the crime of attempted assassination.
Tethercat said crime, attempted assassination.
Alright, everybody. Let's put on our thinking caps and get straight into this case, the details of this crime. We're going to look at the demographics. The offender is a 35-year-old white male. The victim was a 31-year-old white Protestant male. The offender-victim relationship, they were confidants. The weapon used in physical injury, the victim was beaten with brass knuckles. Oof. Property damage or loss, $600. Chump change. Let's take a look at the excuse given for this crime. The offender said he was upset at his mother's death, so he attempted to assassinate someone. He was upset at his mother's death. Is that so? The offender's criminal record. We're going to look at adult prior crime types here. Was included conspiracies. Yeah. Prior arrests and convictions. The offender has had 6 recorded prior arrests and 1 recorded prior conviction. And we're going to take a look at the fugitive status on the day of the crime. The offender is a jail escapee. Oof. So this, I'm just going to run back here for a minute. So this 35-year-old man escapes jail and then goes and makes an assassination attempt with brass knuckles because he's sad about his mother's death. Yeah, completely logical. Let's take a look at the offender's reputation. The offender's a Little League coach. That's his reputation. When he's not escaping jail, he's teaching the kids how to play ball. We don't need to look at the juvenile court blotter, so let's take a look at the pre-sentence report. And we're going to find out a little bit more about this individual. The offender is engaged to be married, smokes marijuana, and is a college scholar. His employment history is that he's a self-employed business person. What a weird dichotomy about this person. The court and prosecution details the defendant threatens a pre-witness for the prosecution. Oh, that's not good. 60 Minutes demands an interview. I don't think we need to look at the offender's upbringing. I think that we should definitely look at the mental history. I think there's a lot going on behind those lenses. The offender shows a malevolent disposition. Ya think? Really? Alright, let's review the known facts.
Minimi96 said this man has all the tags.
And that's the thing, is this man has all the tags, and yet he's a Little League coach, he's a college scholar, he's got all the tags, he's both, he is...
Jakeature said I object.
Yeah, as well you should. Welcome aboard, Jakeature. We're running through the clipboard of justice, so you arrived just in time. Remember, once we do the clipboard of justice, you have your opportunity to pass a sentence and a length of sentence. Let's take a look.
Minimi96 said hey JK.
In the crime of attempted assassination, the property damage or loss was $600. The offender and the victim were confidants. The victim was beaten with brass knuckles. The offender is a 35-year-old man. The victim was a 31-year-old man. The offender said he was upset at his mother's
Jakeature
death.
said hi Minimi96.
The offender is a jail escapee. The offender is a Little League coach. Prior crimes include conspiracies. The 35-year-old man has had 6 recorded prior arrests and 1 recorded prior conviction. The defendant threatens a pre-witness for the prosecution. 60 Minutes demands an interview. The offender shows a malevolent disposition. The offender is engaged to be married, smokes marijuana, and is a college scholar. As well, the offender is a self-employed business person. And there we have it, everybody. Once again, please enter in your sentence and length of sentence. What a crazy case. Attempted assassination. I don't think we're going jail. I don't think we're going probation, so we're going to hit prison on my recommendation. And it's just a matter of how bad this crime was. Jinkies. 35-year-old guy escapes jail, goes and beats up a confidant with brass knuckles because he was upset at his mother's death, as well as threatening a pre-witness for the prosecution. And again, this isn't just assault, and this isn't just aggravated assault. This is attempted assassination. So this guy, I don't see any rehabilitation in this guy. I see incarceration for this guy. I don't think 15 years is enough. I think we got to go up to 20. I'm going to say 20 years of prison. I mean, I can't see anything less. So I'm curious what everyone in chat thinks. By all means, toss in your thoughts. Wow. As Mini-Me said earlier, this man has all the tags.
Minimi96 said, prison 20 maybe.
Yeah, I'd go for that. Yeah. This is why Mini-Me is jury foreman Mini-Me in this game. Chaos, eh? Just chaos. All right, we're gonna run with this and let's take a look. Prison 13 years, 9 months. Judge went a little lighter than us for some reason. But I still feel that we're justified, and I think that we're going to get quite a few gavels in our favor. Let's take a look at our score. Yeah, we got 6 gavels. That's our record for the night. A very respectable score. With hard work, you may make it to the high court someday.
Minimi96 said so close. Tethercat said gavels, 6, judicial IQ, 44.
Yeah, that was interesting. What an interesting case. They're all interesting cases. Well, as Mini-Me said, it was so close. We did good. We did 6 gavels of goodness on that one. So now, oh, by the way, perhaps we need to be a little more heavy-handed. Perhaps we're being a little too light with this. So should I break out the hockey stick for this next case? The crime is to be unlawful imprisonment.
Tethercat said crime, unlawful imprisonment.
What do you think? Are we doing the hockey stick for this one? I know it'll get in the way of the case for reading it, but should we put the gavel away for one case? Let's do it. For one case. You know what? No, this is a court of law. We're going to treat it as a court of law. As much as I would love to bring out the hockey stick.
Minimi96 said either that or our opinions don't matter and just have to think the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah. Which we've tried, and you know what? That's been a failure on several levels as well. So we're just never going to win in this unless we win. All right, everybody, we're doing this. The crime is unlawful imprisonment. Now let's take a look at the details of this crime. We're going to look at the demographics. The offender is a 19-year-old white Catholic male. The victim was a 19-year-old white Catholic woman. So in the crime of unlawful imprisonment, we got a young offender. And we're going to look at the offender-victim relationship. They were siblings. And you know what? At both of them being the age of 19, it's a high probability that they were twins. Woof. Unlawful imprisonment. There's some issues going on, and we've only seen 2 stats here. Let's take a look at the weapon used. The victim has become sexually impotent. Damn. Property damage or loss, $1,340. And the excuse given for this crime. He said he did it to get even? Oh, dude, no. No, no, no. No, 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 no. No. That's how you get thrown in prison, to say such things. No, 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 no. No, no, no. The offender's criminal record. I don't like this case at all. And we're going to take a look at the adult prior crime types, keeping in mind he's only 19.
Minimi 96 said criminals can get away with the law, but they can't get away from me.
There you go. Spoken like a true jury foreman. Adult prior crime types. This 19-year-old, his specific crime type of information is unavailable. His prior recorded arrests and convictions, he's only had 1 prior recorded arrest. Relatively clean. The fugitive status on the day of the crime is that he was released on his own recognizance. Let's take a look at the offender's reputation. He's known as Scarface. I absolutely think that the juvenile court blotter may reveal something. For unlawful imprisonment against his twin sister. Let's take a look. The juvenile's offenses include using false identification. Wow. Alright, we're going to look at the pre-sentence report. And this 19-year-old's personal details are that he's cohabiting, he shoots dope, and he is a high school graduate. His employment history is that he's a white-collar worker. The courtroom prosecution details. The probation officer recommends prison. Ooh. Going out of his lane on that one. Priests speak out on the defendant's behalf for unlawful imprisonment of his twin sister. Priests, get back in your lane. And now, this is where we look at offenders' upbringing and mental history. I think we need to look at both of those. This 19-year-old male had a normal home life and was brought up in an urban setting. His mental history is that he's anorexic, he won't eat, and he is constantly dieting. Yeah, there's something going on there. Oof, this is going to be a tough one, to be honest. Because I want to throw the book at him, but... And I will throw the book at him. Make no mistake. Let's review the known facts. In the crime of unlawful imprisonment, property damage or loss was $1,340. The victim was the offender's sister. The victim has become sexually impotent. The offender is a 19-year-old male. The victim was a 19-year-old woman. The offender said he did it to get even. The offender was released on his own recognizance. The offender is also known as Scarface. And although specific crime type of information is unavailable, the offender's juvenile offenses include using false identification, and he has had 1 recorded prior arrest. The probation officer recommends prison. Priests speak out on the defendant's behalf. The offender had a normal home life and was brought up in an urban setting. The offender is anorexic, won't eat, is constantly dieting. The offender is cohabiting, shoots dope, is a high school graduate, and the offender is a white-collar worker. Well, yikes. Is rehabilitation a possibility? Honestly, yes. I'm not going to even lie. This 19-year-old
Minimi 96 said BRB. Also throw the clipboard at him.
Alright, we'll see you back soon. And believe me, we're going to throw the clipboard at him. The clipboard of justice. Should have stuck with the hockey stick. I believe that this young man can be rehabilitated. He's 19. He's only had one arrest. He's squeaky clean. Maybe not squeaky clean, but he's clean. However, unlawful imprisonment of a sister resulting in sexual impotency and $1,300 of damages. I'm gonna say jail. If it's prison, it's heavy-handed and it's way too simplistic. It's got to be jail. And I'm thinking that it's going to be jail for 6 months would probably be a good baseline. If it was, I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely going to up it from 6, believe me. Is it going to be a year? Is it going to be 2 years? It's jail, and we're going to rehabilitate him. Oh, it's a heinous act. It's truly a heinous act. I'm going to give 1.5 years of jail. I'm going to give 1.5 years of jail. Yeah. I'm just going to leave it at that. And you know what? 1 day for the clipboard. Prison 2 years. Yeah. I feel that it's definitely heavy-handed. I would have done, if I was doing prison, I would have done like a couple of months of prison. So this is heavy-handed. But I do think rehabilitation is possible with this young man. With all that said, we still got 5 gavels.
Tethercat said gavels, 5, judicial IQ, 49.
Well, we're coming into the bottom of the hour, and I think we got another half hour left in us. So that's probably 2 or 3 cases. As well, it's open voice chat, so we might have some other bailiffs joining us. Until then, let's keep going. Now it's time for our next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. The defendant is to be sentenced for the crime of embezzlement.
Tethercat said crime, embezzlement.
And let's get started. The details of this crime. We're going to look at the demographics. The offender is a 37-year-old Hispanic male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender-victim relationship? The offender had no knowledge of the victim. Weapon used, physical injury was none. However, property damage or loss was a mere $210 of embezzlement. Poof. Gonna be a light case. The excuse given for this crime. He said he needed $210. He embezzled for $210. Way to go, buddy. Let's look at the offender's criminal record. And this 37-year-old man's adult prior crime type. He has also committed white-collar crimes. And what are his prior arrests and convictions, you may ask? Well, that'd be 4 prior recorded arrests and 4 recorded prior convictions. The fugitive status on the day of the crime is that he's an escaped mental patient. The offender's reputation is that he's an active member of the PTA, the Parent Teacher Association. He's an active member of the Parent Teacher Association. How old was he? He was like 34, 37. So I don't think we need to look at the juvenile record. And that means we can just hop straight over to the pre-sentence report. The personal details of this 37-year-old man are that he is separated, he abstains from drinking, and he is a community college student. His employment history is that he's a white-collar worker, and he has had previous white-collar crimes. By the way, you may not have noticed on the avatar, but I just kind of gave a little side glance to no one, to you. I gave a little bit of a neck twitch quirk after reading that he was a white-collar worker and he had committed white-collar crimes. The prosecution details. The defendant says, "I'm sorry." The prosecutor calls for a strong sentence at a press conference. Really? Embezzlement for $210. All right, well, I don't think we need to look at the offender's upbringing. However, since he is a mental institution escapee, we should definitely look at the mental history. The offender displays wanton behavior. What does that mean? What does wanton behavior mean? Definition. Wanton behavior. Casual and unrestrained, inhumane cruelty without having foundation or provocation, malicious, without check or limitation. So, a wanton action deliberately causes harm, damage, or waste without any reason. So, okay. The offender displays wanton behavior. And with that said, let's review the known facts. The crime is embezzlement, and it's only for $210. The offender had no knowledge of the victim. There was no personal injury. The offender is a 37-year-old male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender said he needed the money. The offender is an escaped mental patient. The offender is an active member of the PTA. The offender has also committed white-collar crimes. The offender has had 34. That's incorrect. Strike that, Your Honor. The offender has had 4 recorded prior arrests and 4 recorded prior convictions. The defendant says, "I'm sorry." The prosecutor calls for a strong sentence at a press conference. The offender displays wanton behavior. The offender is separated, abstains from drinking, is a community college student, and is a white-collar worker. Well, well, well. All these things happened, didn't they? I don't know. Thinking embezzlement. Oh, okay, he's an escape mental patient, so we have to incarcerate him. Like, that's a key element to this case. We have to incarcerate him, so he's going to jail. We can't do probation as much as there could be an option of rehabilitation. He's going to jail. Embezzlement? I think embezzlement is a federal crime. I think it's a really, really bad crime. But for $210? I think this guy's a bad guy. But I don't think that this is a bad crime in the grand scheme of all the crimes that are out there. So I'm definitely thinking we should do jail. But it's going to be a little bit longer. Once again, I'm thinking a year and a half of jail. Nah, perhaps 2 years of jail. Let's give this guy 2 years of jail. Don't do embezzlement. And jail will give him ample time to get out on good behavior. And hopefully he will receive the rehabilitation that is afforded him. 9 months of jail, 10 days. Yeah. Well. I was still going to go 18 months, a year and a half, so, which is twice as long. So the fact that I went even almost 3 times as long, I still feel justified. Not for this green guy. Let's see how many gavels we got. Wow. We're doing poorly, but we're doing okay. We got 4 gavels.
Tethercat said gavels. 4. Judicial IQ, 51.
Alright. Let's take a look at the next case. I'm gonna yawn. Now it's time for our next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. Oh no. 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 The defendant is to be sentenced for the crime of operating a pyramid scheme.
Tethercat said crime, operating a pyramid scheme.
Indeed. And with that, let's take a look at the details of this crime. I'm gonna yawn again. Oh, I'm kind of looking forward to that soup and sandwich. It's coming up as soon as stream ends. Give me some soup and Sammy. The case is property damage or loss. The case is property damage or loss. Let's rewind a little. The case is operating a pyramid scheme. We've already seen what the results are. Let's look at the details of this crime. The demographics. That the offender is a 30-year-old black Catholic male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender-victim relationship. The offender gave no thought to any victims. Weapon-used physical injury was none. However, property damage or loss was $145. And the excuse given for this crime. The offender said the devil made him do a pyramid scheme. Well, if anyone's going to know pyramid schemes, it's going to be that gosh darn devil, isn't it? Wait, what? Let's look at this criminal record for this 30-year-old man, and we're going to take a look at adult prior crime types. They include sex offenses, prior arrests and convictions, 6 recorded prior arrests, and 1 recorded prior conviction. The fugitive status on the day of the crime is that the offender is wanted by the FBI. Oh, that's not good. And the offender's reputation, the offender is a common thug. I don't think juvenile court blotter applies to this case, so let's take a look at the pre-sentence report. And we're going to look at the personal details. The offender is judicially separated, sniffs glue, and has a high school equivalence diploma. This 30-year-old man's employment history is that he's a scientist. The court and prosecution details are that the evidence showed that the defendant was easily led by his friends to operate a pyramid scheme. Newspapers call for action. The offender's upbringing or mental history, I don't think play into this. So let's review the clipboard of justice. In the crime of operating a pyramid scheme, the property damage or loss was $145. The offender gave no thought to any victims. There was no personal injury. The offender's a 30-year-old man. The victims are the state and the people. The offender said the devil made him do it. The offender is wanted by the FBI. The offender is a common thug. Prior crimes include sex offenses. This 30-year-old man has had 6 recorded prior arrests and 1 recorded prior conviction. Evidence showed that the defendant was easily led by his friends. Oh, pardon me. Newspapers call for action. The offender is judicially separated, sniffs glue, has a high school equivalence diploma, and he is a scientist. And with that said, that's the case of operating a pyramid scheme. Well, on the surface, this seems like a very simple case. Ow. Pardon me while I stretch. I don't know, this seems like a very simple case. Is operating a pyramid scheme a federal crime? I don't think so. Perhaps it is, but I don't think so. $145, no one got hurt. I think this is a slap on the wrist for this guy. However, he is wanted by the FBI, and so I think we got to incarcerate him until they can arrive. So, let's offer up some jail time. I'm going to say 3 months of jail. I don't want to give him 1 month of jail. He operated a pyramid scheme. But I think 3 months of jail. You know what? No. He operated a pyramid scheme. He gave no thought to any of the victim. 6 months. There you go, buddy.
Minimi96 said I'm back.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back, jury foreman Mini-Me. Probation 8 years. If he skips probation, good luck on that FBI. Pardon me. Not bad receiving 5 gavels. Keep practicing. This isn't a small claims court. And I'm also going to run in for a hydration check after this.
Tethercat said gavels, 5, judicial IQ, 51. Tethercat said hydration check.
Okay. And now we're in the home stretch. We might have 1, possibly 2 cases, but probably 1 more case in us. And that'll take us to the top of the hour. Again, maybe 1, maybe 2. We'll see how it goes. But. Now it's time for our next case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. Sensitive case. Prison 99. Boop. Whole bunch of crimes tonight, but tonight, this one, the defendant is to be sentenced for the crime of auto theft.
Tethercat said crime, auto theft.
And if this doesn't ring out Vice City, I don't know what does. It's probably the neon purple and green from 1984. Let's put on your Phil Collins studio and get into this case. Yeah, translation Chan didn't note that one. Details of the crime. Crime is auto theft. Demographics. The offender is a 30-year-old black woman. The victim was a 34-year-old Hispanic woman. The offender-victim relationship. The offender and the victim were friends. Probably not anymore. Weapon use, physical injury, none, but the property damage or loss was $1,585. Probably stole a K car, a nice Reliant automobile. That's a Canadian joke for you, everybody. The excuse given for this crime. The offender said she needed money to support a drug habit. She stole her friend's car for $1,500 to support a drug habit. Jinkies. Now let's take a look at the offender's criminal record. This 30-year-old woman. Specific crime type of information is unavailable. Her prior recorded arrests and convictions. She's had 10 recorded prior arrests, but no recorded prior convictions. Her fugitive status on the day of the crime. Canada requests extradition for stealing a K car, a nice Reliant automobile. Thanks to Translation Chan. The offender's reputation, she's sexually aberrant. I don't think we need to look at juvenile court blotter on this one. And we're going to take a look at the pre-sentence report for this 30-year-old woman, her personal details. The offender is recently divorced. She's often drunk, and she is a self-taught person. Her employment history is that she's a psychological counselor. Well. The courtroom prosecution details. The defendant squealed on her accomplices for auto theft. The ACLU says that a harsh sentence would be an outrage. The ACLU isn't stuck without a car that got sold for drugs now, did the ACLU? Smarty pantses. Should we look at offender's upbringing or mental history? I don't think so. Although, once again, this self-taught person is a psychological counselor. So run that as you will. You know what? Let's take a look at the mental history. I want to see what a self-taught individual who has become a psychological counselor teaches to those she psychologically counsels. The offender is psychotic. She considers herself invulnerable. Every now and then it pays to look a little bit deeper. Well. What do you say to that? But well. Let's take a look at the clipboard of justice on this one. We're going to look at the crime of auto theft. Property damage or loss was $1,585. The offender and the victim were friends. There was no personal injury. The offender is a 30-year-old woman. The victim was a 34-year-old woman. The offender said she needed money to support a drug habit. Canada requests extradition. The offender is sexually aberrant. Specific crime type of information is unavailable. There have been 10 recorded prior arrests and 6 recorded prior convictions for this woman. The defendant squealed on her accomplices. The ACLU says that a harsh sentence would be an outrage. The offender is psychotic. She considers herself invulnerable. The offender is recently divorced, often drunk, is a self-taught person, and is a psychological counselor. Well. This is a case and a half. That took a turn. I'm looking at our time, and I think we can squeeze in one more, so I'm just going to quickly rip through this one, and then we can get to one more case. And as such, we're going to reach a decision. It's theft auto. It's not grand theft auto, it's just theft auto. She did steal a car. She did sell it for drug money. She's had 10 recorded prior arrests, but no recorded prior convictions. Let's make this her first. And I think that we're going to sentence her to... Okay. I want to sentence her to jail. But how much jail time will it take for her to pay back the car? by smashing plates. I think if you're smashing plates, that's more of a prison thing. So let's send her to prison and hope that she smashes plates for 2 years. That'll pay back the cost of a nice, reliant automobile for that woman. Probation, 7 years, 8 months. Wow. Ain't smashing no plates on that one, but I guess these things happen. Jeez. Probation ain't getting that car back.
Minimi 96 said it's Grand Theft Auto after she'll get away from court in chaos.
Yeah.
Tethercat
Yes.
said Gavels, 1, Judicial IQ, 46.
I fully agree. You know what? We're coming in the top of the hour. We can squeeze in one more case, so let's do that. Last case of the night, everybody. Now it's time for our last case. Remember, it is how much and what kind of information that is important. We're going to do this one. The crime is aiding and abetting a felon.
Tethercat said crime, aiding and abetting a felon.
All right. And we're going to look at the details of this crime. The demographics are that the offender is a 65-year-old Hispanic male. The victims are the state and the people. The offender-victim relationship. Society is the victim. And the weapon used physical injury, there was none. Property damage
Ibadcon
or
said
loss.
W crime.
There you go. Welcome aboard a bed. Property damage or loss, none. And the excuse given for this crime, the offender said the reason was political. Aiding and abetting a felon. How old was this guy? This guy was 65 years old. Okay. Let's take a look at the offender's criminal record. And wait, hold on a sec. I just want to go back to offender-victim relationship. Society is the victim. Let's take a look at the offender's criminal record here. We're going to look at the adult prior crime types. And although specific crime type information is unavailable, we can at least take a look at the prior arrests and convictions. The 65-year-old man has had 3 recorded prior arrests and 0 recorded prior convictions. The fugitive status on the day of the crime. Arizona wants him. Oh. Everyone always... If you know who wants him the most is Arizona. Canada requests extradition, but Arizona wants him. We're going to look at the offender's reputation. The offender is active in politics. I'm not even really seeing much of a crime here. Aiding and abetting a felon. Huh. We don't need to look at the juvenile court blotter. And I think we're going to find some more details when we review the clipboard of justice. So let's take a look at the pre-sentence report. This 65-year-old man's personal details. He is recently widowed. He is habitually drunk. And he's a criminal justice major? Now that's an interesting turn. His employment history is that he's a part-time college ethics professor. I think he might be wanting to do a little bit better. Yikes. Let's look at the courtroom prosecution details. The probation officer recommends jail time. The media blasts off judges. I don't think we need to look at the offender's upbringing, and I don't think we need to look at the mental history. So you know what? Let's review the known facts via the clipboard of justice. The crime is aiding and abetting a felon. There is no monetary loss. Society is the victim, and there was no personal injury. The offender is a 65-year-old man. The victims are the state and the people. The offender said the reason for aiding and abetting a felon was political. Arizona wants him. The offender is active in politics. Although specific crime type of information is unavailable, the offender has had 3 recorded prior arrests and no recorded prior convictions. The probation officer recommends jail time. The media blasts off judges. The offender is recently widowed, is habitually drunk, and is a criminal justice major. The offender is also a part-time college ethics professor. And there we have it, everybody. This is our opportunity for the final case of the night to issue a sentence and a length of a sentence. My.
Minimi 96 said he's the terrible version of justice and educator.
Kinda, yeah. I would totally agree with that, Minimi. Aiding and abetting a felon. That's... I don't think it's a federal crime. Well, you know what? If there's a felony, if there's a felon, that's a crime. So aiding and abetting a felon? Oh. If it was a known felon, that'd be something, but this is just a felon. I'm gonna say jail. I genuinely, I can't see this being prison worthy. And I could see it being probation worthy. Hey, have you aided and abetted anyone in the past 30 days? So, but yeah, aiding and abetting a felon is not cool. And he should be put away for it. But on a minimal scale. Like, I'm thinking something small. I want to give this guy like 2 months of jail. And even then, that's a lot. I don't know. With that said, though, I mean, he really should have known better. He's a criminal justice major and an ethics professor. So he may have had his reasons, but he should have known better. Yeah, I'm going to do 2 months of jail.
Minimi 96 said jail 7.
Ooh, interesting. You say 7 jail. Ooh. Huh. Wow. I'm willing to compromise. I'm willing to go 4 months and 15 days of jail. I'm willing to compromise on that one. Huh. Okay. We'll split the bill on this and see how we do. 10 months of jail. You were much closer than I was. Jury foreman Mini-Me, you did good. Better than me. Let's take a look at how many gavels my reduced sentence got, shall we? Only 4 gavels for me. We might be ready to handle traffic court. That brings us to the top of the hour,
Tethercat said
everybody.
gavels, 4, judicial IQ, 48.
Well, I'd like to thank everyone for showing up, everyone for participating. We've had quite a few people pitch in. We've had quite a few people join us. It was open voice chat. We even had an appearance by Bailiff June Kalmori. We didn't do that great. As you can tell, there have been no symmetrical duck awards given on the night. There haven't even been any 5 symmetrical duck awards.
Minimi96 said I was thinking 10 but wanted to be fair.
Ah, Mini-Me, you should have gone 10. Well, you did your best. I'm proud of you nonetheless. Proud of you, jury foreman, Mini-Me. You're not the jury foreman for nothing, right? Everybody, it's time for me to go grab some soup and a sandwich, and it's time for you to say farewell. Take care, everybody. It's always great having you play along. And as always, thanks for watching.
Tethercat said thanks for watching. Tethercat said carrot underscore carrot. Minimi96 said have a good night and take care. Reed 1914 said hand pink waving.